What's up, ladies and gents? This is KSigKid coming at you with another Destiny video. Today we've got a video I'm pretty excited to show you. It's one that I've been thinking about for the last couple of weeks, and I finally decided to just buckle down and do it. A little while ago we did a video on how to last word as a noob, and today we're going to get into that same type of video only with fusion rifles. Yes, fusion rifles, the special weapon that do not get much love or attention in Destiny. So if you enjoy this video, go ahead and smack that like button and subscribe to the channel. Let's see if we can get some fusion rifle love in here. Let's see if we can get this video to 100 likes extremely quickly. Show the fusion rifles that they do have a place in Destiny. And what we're going to do is we're going to show some fusion rifle stats. We're going to talk about what is worthwhile, what's not worthwhile on your fusion rifles. And we're going to show a little bit of a depiction. Just like with the last word, we're going to go to a wall and we're going to shoot at it and show you exactly why and how you should be using your fusion rifles. Because just like with the last word, there's definitely a right way and a wrong way to be using fusion rifles. So that's really interesting, and that's probably one of the reasons that fusion rifles aren't used that much, because people aren't necessarily using them correct. But they are a lot of fun, and I'll be honest, because of the way that you play with fusion rifles, I've actually seen my KD, my particular KD, actually go up whenever I'm using them. And I'm not one who's ever going to have a good or great KD because I mess around way too much, but it's just really interesting to me that since I've been using them, I've actually believed to become a little bit of a better player. So let's start getting into things. Let's take a look at a fusion rifle. We're going to look at the Plan C. Now, we're just looking at the Plan C just because we want to go down the stats. First off, the charge rate. This is pretty much what determines how fast your bolts are actually going to fire out. So the quicker the charge rate, the quicker that you're going to fire off your bolts, the less time you actually have to hold down on the trigger. Impact is one of the two most important stats for a fusion rifle. It's going to determine how many of your fusion rifle bolts it's going to take to kill an enemy. The fusion rifle fires off 7 bolts, and impact is going to determine how many of them is needed to kill an enemy. Stability is going to determine how close together your bolts are grouped. So stability, if impact might be the most important, stability would be right up there as far as 1A, maybe 1B, as far as how important it is to fusion rifles. You definitely want to max out your stability. In range, since fusion rifles shoot out projectiles, range is going to affect how quickly those projectiles go from your gun to the target. So the better the range, the quicker your shots are going to land to the enemy, which means that the less prediction you have to actually do. And yes, you do have to predict a little bit with fusion rifles, but it's really not as bad as it would be made to seem. They're really not that bad once you get started with them. But let's talk about the impact, because I mentioned that impact determines how many bolts it's going to take to kill an enemy. So if you want to kill an enemy in 4 bolts, here are your fusion rifle choices. Now the problem with these guns is their charge rate is extremely slow, so they might not be exactly ideal for people that are just starting out with fusion rifles. The majority of your fusion rifle choices are going to be 5 bolts to kill, and this is where we see some of the most popular fusion rifles like the Plan C, like the Thesan, like the Vacancy. So these are some of your really good fusion rifles that you can max out with stability. This chart and these stats come from a Reddit user, Redcut243. I'm going to go ahead and link the Reddit post in the description box below if you want to go ahead and take a look at that. So here we are over at the wall. And fusion rifles, whenever you don't aim down the sights, they've got a little bit of a spread on them whenever you fire off the bullets. Your fusion rifles have better stability when you're aiming down the sights. And you can see right here, I'm basically aiming around where a guardian would be standing right in front of me. And as you can see, the gun automatically kicks up. So the problem with fusion rifles is I think a lot of people are aiming towards the head to get headshots, and they're missing a lot of their bolts. You're much better served aiming lower. Aiming at the waist or below is going to let you hit more of your bolts on the enemy. And you can see as my gun's kicking up, you can see how many bolts are going up higher than where I aim. That's the secret to fusion rifles. That's the secret to being able to kill. You can see right here as I shoot that enemy. My first shot is way too high. My first shot's way too high, so as I aim in, I'm at his head, and I barely graze him. So I aim lower down towards his feet, and boom, he's dead. That's the secret. That's all it is. Now, based on how far away your enemy is going to determine how low you actually need to aim. Obviously, if they're right up in front of you and right close to you, it doesn't much matter. All the bolts are going to hit them, or at least the 5 that it would take to kill. But if they're far away, you can get some pretty significant damage and some pretty long range kills if you aim down towards the enemy's feet. So if you aim down towards their feet instead of their head, chances are you might kill an enemy from a long range, and that's how you're going to surprise people. That's how people are going to be like, holy crap, I can't believe I got killed by a fusion rifle. Because I'll be honest with you, as I was taking fusion rifles into the game, I was running around in these different matches in the Iron Banner in various 6v6 game modes, and I was having some fun killing enemies, and next thing I know, I saw a bunch of my opponents running around with fusion rifles. And I'd like to think that that was partly because I might have killed them from a really far range, or I did something with them, and they were like, oh man, you know what, I need to kind of pull out my plan C, I need to try these things out. And I think after you get into some matches and you get used to the charge rate, I think you too might actually decide that, you know what, these are kind of worth trying out. I don't know if they're worthwhile to use in Trials of Osiris just yet. I haven't used them in Trials at all. I used them all Iron Banner week though, all Iron Banner week, and I had no problem. And honestly, fusion rifles are probably a really poor choice in Clash, mainly because you can't get headshot bonuses. So even though it is only an extra 10 points, it's an extra 10 points that I was kind of costing myself. Take a look at this long range shot. So I aimed really low and I nearly killed him from that range with one fusion rifle shot. That's what I'm saying. You just have to adjust your aim. Instead of aiming higher to go get critical hit headshots, these fusion rifles don't at all care about critical hits because you can't get them. So aim lower. Just focus on hitting the big meaty parts of the body and getting those kills. If they ever actually came out with a fusion rifle that shoots like this, that also gets critical hits, like obviously not the Sleeper Simulant or the Vex Mythoclast, they're kind of different, but a fusion rifle like this that allows you to get critical hits, oh man, look out for that, because that would be one heck of a strong gun. It might even be a little bit too OP for the game. But these fusion rifles, again, if you can get used to that charge rate and just getting familiar with how they handle, they're one-hit kill machines. We love sniper rifles because they're one-hit kill machines. We love shotguns because they're one-hit kill machines. So are these fusion rifles. If you can get good with these fusion rifles, you can get your one-hit kills from a little bit closer range and do it with a little bit of style. So that's how to fusion rifle for noobs. I'm a noob, I'm a fusion rifle noob, but they have been a lot of fun. I'm really glad that I tried them out, and I think that the April update was good because stability is extremely important. So whenever Bungie was nerfing all that stability, it was killing them. So let me know, what do you think about fusion rifles now? Anyway, guys and gals, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, smack that like button and subscribe to the channel. Check out these awesome videos. Good luck with your raids, your drops, your fusion rifles, and I'll see you around in Destiny. Bolts, you kill me.